Previously on CDX. The goal of this year's CDX is simple, really.
NSA's Red Cell attacks us for 4 days on this network that we create that has to provide all the services that you'd usually expect any enterprise network to provide.
CDX is broken down into 4 different cells. There's the blue cell, which are the different teams, the red cell, which are the hackers, there's the white cell, which are the referees, and gray cell are the simulated users who don't really know what they're doing, and they go and they come on our boxes and click every single link and open every email and download and run every program.
5 teams are competing this year, and all they have to do is keep out the red cell, a team of talented software developers and computer network attackers from the National Security Agency and across the Department of Defense.
All our machines are required to run what's called a token agent, and what it's supposed to represent is confidential data on our network. So Red Team's goal is to read or remove or edit that data.
Everyone starts out with a certain number of points, and it's who loses the least by the end of it, because everyone's losing points, everyone's going to be hacked, and it's kind of just fight through the storm.
The 338-acre campus in Annapolis, Maryland is actually the second U.S. Naval Academy. In 1845, it replaced the Philadelphia Naval Asylum, which was founded in 1838 and was considered the first American naval academy. Navy has won CDX 3 times, most recently last year.
We're going to win, of course, because we won last year and we're the best, so...
The U.S. Military Academy at West Point, New York is the oldest federal service academy in the United States, established in 1802. 2 presidents, 18 NASA astronauts, and 76 Medal of Honor recipients have graduated from the Point. The CDX trophy has resided at West Point 8 times, more than any other academy.
I think Army's gonna win this year, ma'am.
The U.S. Coast Guard Academy in New London, Connecticut is the smallest of the U.S. service academies, with just over 870 current enrollees. It is the only U.S. academy which does not require congressional nomination.
We're the only service academy to never have won, and so I would really like to, before I graduate, win, and I think that we have a chance of doing that this year.
In 1974, the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy in Kings Point, New York, became the first federal service academy to admit females into its ranks, 2 years before the others.
We are the underdogs, but it's always best to root for the underdogs.
The grounds of the Royal Military College of Canada in Kingston, Ontario, have been an active military base since 1789 and are now considered part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
We want to come out on top. We have a lot of smart people in our year, and we think we have a good chance of winning this.
Only one of these teams can come out on top. Who will it be? This is CDX 2016.
Welcome to the 16th Annual Cyber Defense Exercise. My name is Kurt Dukes, Director of the Information Assurance Directorate here at NSA. On behalf of the ID, I'd like to thank you for your participation. I hope the event is enjoyable and challenging, and that you each learn valuable lessons that you can use to help strengthen our nation's critical computer networks. So now I'd like to say that this year's Cyber Defense Exercise has officially begun. Good luck, everyone.
On the surface, not much happens on Monday. The teams spend most of the day shoring up their defenses.
To prepare our network for this year's competition, we actually started as early as last year working on services and things like that. So we started, this year we've actually decided to build it completely out using a Linux platform, whereas in the past and commonly used, we've been using Windows Server platforms. It's a year-round job, it takes a lot of work. So just getting it up and running is one thing, but getting it secure and ready for the competition is a different thing.
Everyone in our program in the computer engineering department, we do a class, a cyber defense class, and the final exam is actually this exercise.
We had an entire week where it was delegated to just prepare and develop our network for this exercise.
We've had all semester to prepare for it. We've been going at it for more hours than I'm sure any other team has. So we are very well prepared. We have plans in place for anything that could happen, any attack that could happen. We do have some tricks up our sleeve. We're not going to reveal those at this time.
So over the last few weeks, we've been building this network continuously, a lot of late nights, a lot of weekends in working, trying to tweak every single setting, make sure that the firewall is completely locked down, and just in general, building up all these services and then making sure that they're configured exactly right. And now, NSA is going to tear it apart.
So this year, our CDX club started off our preparations early. In January, I started recruiting heavy for the team, and I started to come up with lesson plans each week for our users to start getting a base knowledge, because the thing about our school is that the Cyber Defense Club is really, it's exactly that, it's a club. We don't get any time off for this. This is just an extra thing for students who really enjoy computers to do.
The Red Cell may snoop around the network a little bit.
The Red Team kicked off their scans of the networks, and basically what they're trying to do is find out as much information about the school's networks as they possibly can.
But the teams pretty much spend the day in nervous anticipation for the attacks, which will start in earnest on Tuesday morning.
Boys, it looks like we're experiencing the calm before the storm. I don't see anything new, and I don't trust it.
At 09, we're expecting the Red Cell to begin their attacks, so we'll all be all hands on deck for that, ready to see what they bring at us.
Really, all I'm getting is token agent traffic and rubberneck traffic. I'm just waiting for something to actually happen.
Right now, it's currently 10:15, first day of CDX. We got a few guys in positions ready to start doing lateral movements and gain access.
Our goals are always to challenge the students. We want to see them succeed. We want to see them do well. But at the same time, as a Red Cell, we want to be able to exploit and cause some type of score loss to every team in the fight.
And it didn't take too long for that to happen.
We just captured the first domain controller of the exercise. And the domain controller, by the way, is the kind of key broker of trust. So it is the keys to the kingdom for their network. The winning password for RMC, it is password 123456. So we highly recommend not using that particular password.
The goal going into today is to keep them out of our essential services. We know they're going to get in somehow. If we can keep them out of the big services, that will allow us to get a lot of points off them.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, we got another malware alert.
Does this look normal to you at all?
Like, if they all had the same UID, that'd be fine, because it could be like, yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's bad.
Now, it's not about who can build a stronger wall. It's about who can detect malicious activity first and get it off first.
Well, we're getting a decent amount of traffic from them.
Well, we're only looking for the last 5 minutes.
I mean, you have one school at negative here.
Okay.
Who's in negative?
That would be the merchant marine.
Negative 2,000%. Hold on. At least we're the best at being the worst. Look at that. Everything is down. Unknowns across the board.
Oh yeah, DNS failure across the... Wait, hang on, what?
Sometimes we really don't even know why our own network goes down, and now that Red Cell is going to be involved, it's going to be even more of a mystery, I guess.
It's just non-competitive. Then they actually start helping us.
Yeah.
To paraphrase William Shakespeare, CDX makes strange bedfellows.
Don't get me wrong, we're still going for the most points. Per the exercise directive, we're all on the same team. Our only competition is Red Cell, so we're trying to help out the Merchant Marine Academy with their mail problems, because if we are able to resolve their mail problems, then our availability score will go up, as well as theirs.
We're considering blocking that URL.
Okay.
It's on you. It's getting a 503 internal server error, so
Okay.
it's not actually getting through, but
Right.
keeps reaching out.
I can run a command and basically search for certain patterns, and it'll highlight it when it finds a pattern.
Oh, okay.
I've already told the Navy to get the trophy up here next week.
I told them they had no choice but to get it here.
What? So Army's definitely our main competitors right now. We are watching their score really closely.
Army's definitely losing. We're not sure about the others. They're fighting for second and third, so Army's just gonna lose.
As far as our actual computers go, it looks like most of them have been pretty secure. I don't think they've gotten into any of our workstations. I think the restrictions we put on getting out of our network have really helped.
It's just a lot of staring at screens and complaining about why stuff isn't working. So
Why isn't stuff working?
it's a great question.
Who's winning?
Coast Guard by about a point. Really annoying.
Today, attacks began at 9 o'clock. We're doing pretty well so far. They've done a lot of scanning. We've been able to see their scanning on our intrusion detection system, and so we know that they're there and they're scanning us. We haven't detected any attacks as of yet, but the first token scores haven't come out yet, so they might be in our system. We might not know about it.
Okay, CDX. Passwords, all password, all lowercase.
Super secure.
Security. Yeah, don't get that. Yeah, you didn't hear that. That's not good.
So at the moment, we are in three of the teams. The RMC undergraduate, West Point, Coast Guard Academy, those are the teams we've hit so far.
There's a lot of connectivity issues with the schools, so we judge the scoring based on how many services are connected, the availability of certain things. So certain schools are having issues with certain services, and so because of that, they're losing points every hour.
We just got access to the Naval Academy. So right now we're expanding that access to my guys so they can go and do lateral movement and try to pretty much move through their network and collect tokens. So that's good for us, kind of bad for them.
Rain, rain, go away. Rain, rain, go away.
The gloomy weather all up and down the eastern seaboard didn't seem to hinder the team's spirits.
Maybe re-upload the quantum flux capacitor. So we just updated. What are you doing? What is this?
This was a joke. Sorry.
The Bachelor must be like just like this, you know?
Yeah.
Being on that. It's like, oh, so Jake, tell me about yourself.
Welcome to the war room.
This is MTV Cribs.
Hello, we're here with John Hammonds, and I just want to give a plug for his YouTube channel, and he has over 470 videos about programming. Check him out. That's all we got.
Good, he makes some inappropriate noises.
No, come on. I need somebody to work the WASD case.
Hidden Tiger, Crouching Dragon, yeah!
Yeah. Can we get rid of the vulnerabilities on the General's laptop or no?
Day 2, the General's laptop is introduced. According to the scenario, a General has showed up to your base, and he needs to plug his computer into the network now. No questions asked. So the students have 1 hour to connect it and hope for the best.
So we just got inject number 2. I need Kyle back here. Okay. He's at his doctor's appointment, but we need him back here. All right.
You guys find malware on here?
Yes.
Okay.
I was working on the General's laptop a little bit, so we also found some malware on the Delta computer, which is a Windows box, and the General's laptop is also a Windows box. We decoded it, and we found out that it was the same malware that we found from yesterday.
We're just going through it and trying to find as many of the vulnerabilities as we can, patching those up before we take it live.
We found a couple of things, but not to that extent to make us panic. But there's been some abnormal traffics.
We had our second inject today, which was the General's web app, and so we've been able to secure that a little bit, and we're going to put it on our network in a few hours. Hopefully that goes pretty well.
If there are vulnerabilities on it, they could gain easy access to the computer, which will allow them to pivot inside our network. We're not exactly sure the full extent of the damage they could cause from there, but we want to keep them out as long as possible.
How long does it take to import from there?
Freaking forever.
Excellent. This is very stressful.
Can you boot up the
Admiral's webpage on your local VM and then use that on that so we can try to find more vulnerabilities?
Oh my god. It doesn't have Java. The last lap goes to the NSA. Hey, guess what? Dell's laptop does not have Java.
Which means token agent.
We were so close to that deadline, but we didn't have Java. You need Java to run token agent to get points.
Today, well, the scoring was a little bit interesting for a while. We were having some issues with tokens, so we're still looking to try and find out what the issue with that was. Last I checked, we were up either number 1 or 2.
So the General's laptop, that was an interesting one. We do believe there could have been some compromise through that General's laptop. We're not completely sure.
I saw the scoreboard. It looked like they had a tough day today, but I understand that things can change fast, right?
Tonight's really when it's going to get interesting. They usually wait until night when you're asleep to really just destroy everything. Hopefully we can preemptively lock some of the things down that they're trying to access and prevent them from being able to do any damage tonight.
One of our techniques is the students have to go home at a certain time. And as a real adversary that never sleeps and around the clock, we like to simulate access right before they have to go home for the night.
The Unix folks will come out and all kinds of good things will happen tonight, I hope.
A new day dawns, and all the teams are chomping at the bit to get started. In New London, last night's crew left a box of donuts in the lab, and on Wednesday morning, the Coast Guard team is experiencing an ant problem. But those aren't the only bugs in the room.
How did we lose all our points?
The General's laptop was something that we should have secured a lot more than we did, and I'll admit, overlooked and forgot to actually run our own hardened script on the new vulnerable web app. So, whoops. That would have been overnight.
That would have been overnight.
This is some good damage.
Yeah, this is high quality stuff.
That's village to village right there.
That's great.
Yeah.
Last night there was a few potential vulnerabilities that the red cell exploited. So we have logs, we have captures of all of that stuff, but now we have to try to go through it. And within 2 hours, you have about 3 gigabytes of data to sift through.
Right now we're up a few percentage points above RMC, that's our closest competition. Navy took a hit last night.
We're now getting into the part where Red Cell is actually going to show their hand in the coming hours, so we're really interested to see how deep they are in our network and whether or not they're going to be able to bring it all down.
It looks like all rubberneck stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's fine. Okay. Yeah, I just came back.
That's good. Merchant Marine, what are you doing? Freaking work, you piece of
We're gonna watch
him take over.
Which computer is this?
Yesterday we had an issue with rebooting one of our tokens, which caused us to fall into negative points. The issue was then resolved and we got all those points back. The major issue we will be working on today is getting our DNS and firewall to work in context with each other so we can have Gray Cell actually reach their computers. We're hoping once we get that connected that we have over 40% Gray Cell availability, which would mean we're beating all the other academies in that point. So.
Right now I'm going through the most recent PCAPs to try to figure out exactly what they've been up to. We know that we got hacked overnight, especially in the web server, so we're trying to figure out where those command and control channels could possibly be out to the outside world.
Certain things like beacons that are going to keep calling out to them and saying, hey, I'm still alive, come find me. We want to get rid of that so that they can't establish command and control on our computers.
As the cadets and midshipmen continue to battle their faceless adversary, they might be surprised to learn that some of their own brothers in arms are on the other side.
There's multiple cadets here from different universities that were allowed to come and actually side saddle the Red Cell members.
Next year when we do participate on the other side of the CDX, we'll be able to utilize the knowledge that we learn here to better defend our network. And so I think the red cell is going to have a very hard time next year trying these same techniques.
The cadets just scored a token on West Point. They put together the attack package, worked with the gray cell, got the initial access, and acted on the callback. Very good on our cadet guest this year. Very happy about that.
This experience is awesome, and I just really one of those things, coming to Navy, coming to a service academy, and specifically this competition, you don't get this kind of experience anywhere else, and that's what makes it all so great.
It's Wednesday evening at about 5. We're dealing with still a few token issues. We're getting hit pretty much every scoring period. It's a bit of a crisis just because we're on a time crunch.
We've been working really hard on getting these last few errors we saw in services. We've had a lot of things fixed in the last just the last 30 minutes. We've had a lot of things go green that hadn't been today. I think it's looking good to come up tomorrow.
Right now, what we're trying to do is get gray cell into the system, because if they can't get in, they can't use their workstations, and we don't make points off that. We need to get the points there, otherwise it'll be an adventure trying to move up at all from last place.
Make sure that we stay vigilant, because now is when Red Cell knows the most about our network and has the most of a foothold, but at the same time, we're paying the least attention, which is a very dangerous combination.
We are cleared hot. It's 9:01.
We've ramped up the noise. You should have realized we're there. If you haven't, shame on you, and we're gonna break everything.
It looks like Army's in the first place, but it's anyone's game right now. At 1600 tonight, we'll know who the winner is.
What token are we missing?
We had them all night. 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3.
Well, that's availability, but no tokens.
I don't understand. We didn't lose any tokens all night.
Hey, I kept them out.
Today we came back and we had found that we were more survivable than we thought we were. We expected to have like everything taken over, or pages defaced, or systems destroyed, but there were only a few small fires that we had to put out before we were back into working order.
We're still in first right now. The Royal Military College of Canada is right on our tails though.
Oh yeah, Navy's not even close.
The Navy's notorious for being around the ocean, and the water doesn't work well with the computer systems because water is a conductor. So we think that might be contributing to their poor scoring as well as their skills problem.
Coast Guard and Merchant Marine are on the ocean too, so...
Yeah, and as we see, their scores are also...
We have 1 minute, get ready.
Cover quarters.
Man the hatches. They don't actually blow it up until right after we get in, so right around these next couple hours is when they start to actually use those exploits. The rest of today is just going to be a whole lot of destruction.
I think that we have been doing a lot better this year than we have last year, and we're exponentially increasing and gaining on the other academies.
The DNS problem. I think I might have found it.
Things are looking up. We may be able to turn around in the last day. Watch out.
Teams are working feverishly to get as many points as possible before the end of the exercise. But for some, it might be time to throw in the towel.
We delete a lot of their critical systems on their boxes, so they should have fun with that and trying to get those boxes back up and running here. We're about to get this running on the Coast Guard's computer.
We've been working a lot on our alpha clients. We couldn't get it connected to the domain, and so we've basically been trying everything to get this thing connected. Finally, we figured out something we thought would work, and when we applied it, this is what happens. Clearly, that was the NSA, not us.
Just a friendly little defacement that lets them know, haha, somebody was on your box. That's all.
No, I don't think so. No, seriously, it doesn't. There is no mouse. There is nothing.
So there's no way for you to fix it?
It's Linux.
We're a smidge above Merchant Marine Academy, below probably by a good 10 points or so from the rest of the big boys. That's it. We're probably sitting pretty at that 4th place spot.
But Army, Navy, RMC, and Red Cell are fighting hard to the last minute possible.
Yeah, we're slowly losing availability points, and RMC is slowly building theirs.
We're continuing to close the gap right now.
It hasn't stopped closing. We passed them at one point and then got docked a far heavier penalty and still continue to close that gap.
So right now they took the restraints off, and we're throwing everything we can. So everything we got left, We're throwing it at every academy that we have access to right now.
So it's really close. I mean, it's almost impossible to tell between Navy, Army, and RMC. They're all right there.
It may be 5 minutes before the end of the exercise, but it's not over yet for Navy.
If they throw us an eject with like 10 minutes left in the exercise,
I would not be surprised. Just be like, I wouldn't be surprised. News article inject 1. Tell us about your favorite NNN.com or RNN.com news article.
USA.
In the comment section below.
Look at him go! Look at him go!
Hurry, hurry! How much time is left?
Got about 20 seconds.
Yo, aren't you guys glad I was checking that?
It's over.
So now the competition is over, I think I'm going to get some sleep and catch up on some studying from earlier in the week.
We didn't end quite where we wanted to on the scoreboard. We're in about third place. I mean, yes, something could still happen with last-minute scoring decisions and things like that.
We definitely finished strong this year. We pushed out Navy for the first time. They're no longer in first or second place, and they were definitely worried we were going to win entirely. Who knows? The scores come out tomorrow. We'll see how it ends, but this might be a little bit of an embarrassment for the Americans.
If RMC wins this year, then that just means that all of us as service caddies need to step it up next year.
I think today was a great example of how a day should look in the CDX. We had a perfectly functional network. We had every service running as it should. We were just waiting for instance to pop up.
I think it was a great experience. These are things that I would not have a chance to do anywhere else. Like drinking from a fire hose, right? The amount of knowledge, what you can take at the time, but the lasting effect of what we learned is going to help us in our careers and in our futures.
My biggest takeaway is that it's important to have good battle plans down, and be able to react to contact, and eliminate the enemy from our network.
We don't have the classes here. We don't have the training that everybody else does. So you learn a lot, just how everything's set up, you know, how you work the firewall, how you go through this, how you go through that.
Moving forward, we have this new cyber team here, and so coming in this year was really a big, almost like a starting over point for us. This new design will improve upon itself, improve what we have so far, and it'll be much better as we move forward.
This game is a lot harder now. When I was a plebe, we didn't put nearly as much time into it. The network was nowhere near as secure, and Red Cell would regularly just completely take computers off of the network. Now, they didn't take a single machine off the network, and all of the teams are so much better.
I'd like to thank everyone involved for their participation in and support of this year's cyber defense exercise. This week was an intensive learning experience in which the students gained valuable experience in the technologies and tactics they will one day need to use as officers in the field. We have 5 undergraduate academies competing for the Information Assurance Director's Trophy this year. Finishing in third place for CDX 2016 is the United States Naval Academy. In second place is the Royal Military College of Canada. And the overall winner of the 2016 Cyber Defense Exercise is the United States Military Academy.
We basically want to make an educational experience very positive and very effective exercise that allows the schools to actually come in and showcase their very best.
In today's day and age, cyber defense is ever increasingly more important. There's new trades coming out in at least the Canadian military that are dedicated solely to cyber defense. So it's an ongoing problem, and it's continuing to grow.
There won't be any battles fought in the future, whether they're on the sea or in the air or on land, that don't have a cyber component. And some of these midshipmen and cadets, when they graduate, will be part of that fight.
These cadets here are, my goodness, they're getting not just a technical cyber defense experience, but they're getting leadership and team building here.
The CDX is really an incredible opportunity for all who participate in it. Again, at the end of the day, Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, Merchant Marine, Royal Military College, we all want to help and defend our respective countries. So our ability to learn these key mission tasks and skills now will be paying dividends for us in the future.